part 2. I'm not gonna lie, this is the working part. Having a tough time finding just the right camera angle to demonstrate all this. Let's see. You got your hips all warmed up. You took that previous class. Now you're ready for a little bit of abdominal work. So let's see. Oh, there we go. You probably hear me better now. All right, so ready for a little bit of abdominal work. So when I lay on my back, you've naturally got some curve in your low back. See this strap here under my back? I can pull on it because there's naturally curve in my low back. When I do this abdominal work, I don't want that curve. So I'm gonna flatten out my low back so I can't pull the strap. If you just lay on your back and practice that, that counts as abdominal work. Yoga's not one size fits all. Particularly true when it comes to abdominal work. There's something that suits me, there's something that suits you, and the goal is to find what suits you best. You want to feel like there's some healthy work happening in the belly without irritating every other joint in your body. Right? So I'm pulling my low back and belly down into the floor so I can't pull the strap out. Ah, good. I want to do a little bit more. I'm going to tuck my knees into my chest. I like to put the hands behind my head. It feels more comfortable. Right? Now I'm going to stretch one leg out. That makes it much harder to keep my low back on the floor. So now I'll take a break. I'll back out a little bit. Right? I'll do it again. I'll stretch the other leg out. I'll go back and forth. When you stretch the legs out there, the leverage makes it harder for the abdominal muscles to do the job of keeping the low back pressed into the floor. So you play around for a minute or two. More advanced, when you stretch the leg out, you just took a whole hour to make a complete study of your leg. So apply that knowledge. What does the inner edge of the ankle do? Can you feel how the hamstrings reach across the back of the knee? Can you feel how the thigh muscles squeeze to make the knee straight? Does the leg stay in line or does it get all twisted when you go to stretch it out? Take breaks as needed. It's really not an endurance contest. It's a skill you're trying to learn. How to use these abdominal muscles to stabilize the spine, the hips, and the ribs as the legs make my life more difficult for your belly. I like to do 2 legs at a time, and I'll go back and forth like this. Maybe you do it low. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe higher is better. Almost done. Last little bit. Done. I like to do the windshield wipers in between. I find it refreshing. There's a second round. There's a second round. Now the second round is where the head, neck, and shoulders come up off the floor. If it bothers the head, neck, and shoulders, it's not worth it. Keep the head on the ground. Just repeat the one you did. So flatten out the low back. Maybe that's all I do. Maybe I'm good. I'll tuck the knees into the chest, and maybe that's enough. From here, the head, neck, and shoulders come off the floor. I just stay here for a little bit. The challenge is you're not trying to pull on the head and neck. You're not trying to pull. You're trying to give your head a pillow to rest in. The pillow rests in the head rests in the hands so those throat muscles can calm down. That's not easy. That takes some skill. So if you just stay there and practice relaxing the neck, hey, good. Want to do a little bit more, you stretch a leg out. Maybe 2 legs. Maybe open the elbows wide. If you're feeling crazy, maybe you stretch the arms behind you and rock back and forth a little bit. Make it more challenging for a little bit. Oh, then I take a break. I make it easier again. I'll back in there, I make it more challenging, and then I take a break. Back and forth, work at your own pace. Nobody's will look the same. Everyone's will look a little different. We'll do this for about 20 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Let me take a break. Good. All right, now a little side to side. A little bit of windshield wipers. Now's where we change gears. Some of the muscles that were stretching, now they're going to do some work. And some of the muscles that were working, now they're going to stretch. Grab your yoga strap. The strap goes around your thighs, just above the knee. I joke all the time, but putting a loop in that strap, not the easiest thing in the world. Best you can. You can tie two socks together, wrap them around the legs. You can use a belt. You can even just hold the legs together with your hands. It's fine. But our purposes here is you want to feel the outer thighs and hip do a little bit of work. So see how I press the sides of my thighs into the strap? And I make the thighs and the hips work. I'll do for maybe a minute. I'll squeeze for a few breaths and I take a break. I squeeze for a little bit and I take a break. And with my hands, I can feel those muscles working on the side of the thigh. Do they feel symmetrical? Does just one side want to do the work, the other side is lazy? How about the muscles on the sides of the hips, the glute minimus and medius? Can you feel those? Is your jaw doing the work or the teeth grinding? Nag, 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 nag. And I'll do like this with my feet in the air. So I press my thighs into the strap. The feet are going to want to swing out. Don't let them. That's something different. The knees turn out. I feel the sides of the thigh. I feel the sides of the hip. Okay, and now you're ready for the bridge pose. So I got my feet on the floor. I'm going to press my feet down, lift my hips up, and then I come back down. Up and down, up and down. I've got my heels more or less under my knees. Everybody's built a little different though. I'm not going really high at first. I'm just coming up and down, up and down. My goal here is to feel the muscles of my butt work. I want to feel the glutes work. So what I do is, with my fingers, I poke myself. See, can I feel the right one work? Yep. Can I feel the left one work? Nope. Oh, that's my lazy one, right? So I got to make the left one do the work too. So poke yourself in the butt. Can you feel the right one work? Can you feel the left one work? And then while you're up there, see, maybe you can get one to work at a time. Just the right one, just the left one. Just the right one, just the left one. And the hips will go bum, bum, back and forth. I don't know why that's the song that goes to my head. That's the song that goes through my head. Right? But just the right side, just the left side. And as the hips shift back and forth, you get some mobilization in those joints. After I've got each one to work, now can I use them symmetrically? Can I press my feet down so both butt cheeks are working? And that's when I start to go a little higher. That's when I'll wiggle the shoulders underneath me. Maybe I'll lace the fingers under there. Maybe I'll stay for a little bit. More advanced, use your elevator breathing technique while you're here. Every time you breathe in, the elevator goes into the basement. When you breathe out, it comes in and up. It's not an endurance contest. Stay as long as you like, come out when you've had enough, go back into it again if you want. You're learning how to feel the buttocks and the hamstrings work. And maybe you feel some stretch on the front of the thigh and the hips. When you've had enough, come on down. Wiggle a little side to side. And then the strap comes off. Now for the next bit, grab yourselves a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, oh, you could use a book, you could use a small pet, you could use a small child, whatever you got. You can even use your hands. Put the hands on the inner thighs. You're just making the inner thighs do a little bit of work. Right? So I'm squeezing the legs together, but my hands stop them. I like to use the block. Squeeze. And with your hands, you can feel the inner thighs. Do they both work? Maybe only one side wants to work. You can learn a lot about why you have the aches and pains you have by making a study of the symmetry of your body. I hope this mic is picking stuff up. So I squeeze. 5 seconds, take a break. 5 seconds, take a break. Now, tuck the knees into my chest. I do again. I squeeze, relax. Squeeze, after all that asymmetrical back and forth stuff that we did in the previous video, now you're using the muscles in a symmetrical way to put the hips back in neutral. This is the series I do for myself every morning. You know, one of my hips is a little different than the other, and if I don't keep on top of them, I really suffer. So this is the series that I do in the morning before I leave the house. Now, since we got a little bit more time, a little extra credit, we'll do the side lying series. So just make yourself comfortable laying on your side. I got some blankets underneath my head. I've got my knees tucked into my chest. Lean plenty of weight on the bottom leg. The body's going to want to do this after a while. The belly's going to want to go to the ceiling. Don't let it. Keep plenty of weight on the bottom leg. This top leg, see how I'm drawing circles in the air with the knee? I'm drawing circles in the air with the femur. I'm not doing this, right? I'm not swinging my shin from the knee. I'm not swinging my foot from the ankle. I'm moving the leg from where it attaches to the pelvis. That ball and socket joint, I'm making it swivel. This movement is called circumduction. It's a lot of work. I never count. You give it about a minute. You can make them small. You can do big. Every now and then change direction. Take breaks as needed. And if you feel, I'm a little tired, then you've done enough. Take a break. The next one is riding the bicycle. So see this top leg, how I make this big pedaling action? Like I'm riding a bicycle with one leg. Give it a minute. The ankle moves. The knee bends and straightens. The leg moves from the hip joint. And it's a big bicycle, right? Not a small little big wheel. Big churning, like one of those big hipster bicycles with a big front wheel. You're trying to pull the knee behind your butt. You're trying to pull the heel behind your knee. If you get a cramp in the back of your leg, good job. Take a break, rub some dirt on it, back into it when you're ready. Last few. Okay, and then relax, you take a break. Now the last one is what I call the clamshell. The feet stay together, but the top knee tilts up, down, up, down. Give it a minute. It's a surprising amount of work for such a small motion. You know, I do 10 to 15 and I'm all proud of myself. So up and down, up and down. The body's going to want to rock back. Don't let it. Plenty of weight on the bottom leg as you tilt the top leg up. And with your fingers, you might feel all these muscles working in here. You could use the hand to help. If you want a little more stretch in the inner thigh. Or you can make your leg fight the hand, make it a little bit more work. A few more. It's a lot of work. Same technique, second side. So you do an about face, or you spin around. Whichever direction you want to face. I think I gotta go like this a little bit. Cozy on your side. A lot of weight on the bottom leg. Top leg, circumduction. You'll probably notice pretty quickly one side's going to be a lot stronger than the other. We've all got one hip that's the strong hip, one hip that's the limber hip. It's the way that we use our bodies. Right? Some of you know I drive with one foot on the dashboard. That hip's a little stiffer than the other one. Maybe 10 times one way, 10 times the other. Just every now and then is a good idea to touch where the leg plugs into the hip so you can feel what's going on. You start to get the lay of the land, how you're put together. Okay, that's good. Now you take a little break. Rest up. The second technique is riding the bicycle. Big pedaling action. I warn you, this is usually where people kick over their bottle of water or they bang their toe into a bookcase. The fun and games of yoga. And the best you can, big churning action. And remember, big bicycle, you're trying to pull the knee behind your butt so you get the stretch in the hip flexors. You're trying to pull the heel behind your knee so you get the stretch in the quadricep muscles. If you get a cramp in the back of the leg, good job using the right muscles. If you get the cramp in the neck, not so good, take a break, something's going on there. Right? You're not using your jaw to do this, are you? Not knitting the eyebrows together, flaring the nostrils, sticking the tongue through the roof of your mouth. All these things, they calm down. That's where the work is happening. More advanced, breathe. Okay, that's pretty good. So now, I get cozy again. I take a little break. No rush. I believe yoga should be done at a leisurely pace. Okay. That's why I don't play Megadeth and Metallica while I do yoga. Okay, so top leg. Black Sabbath is fine though. Top leg tilts up, down, up, down. The clamshell. 10, 15, 20. I'm not big on numbers. You do it till you feel like you've done enough. You can use the hand to help give it more stretch. You can use the hand to make it more work. Last little bit. Yeah, good. Okay. So now, time to lie on the belly. Let me find a good camera angle for this. Let's see here. Making this kind of thing may work. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay, so here I am laying on my belly. And I've got my elbows right underneath my shoulders. See how I'm doing some push-ups on my elbows? Hey, I'm looking to get some movement in my shoulder girdle. So I'll push down on just one elbow a few times, or just the other elbow a few times. Go back and forth and side to side, side to side. Now when I push down on my elbows and make my upper back broad, that's called protraction. Protraction. And when I sink into my shoulders and the shoulder blades squeeze together up against the spine, that's retraction. Protraction, retraction. There's use for both of those. Your shoulder's meant to do both of them. So you just practice those motions. All right. So now I'm going to use some traction. Traction in my spine. Traction means to make space between the joints. So I push my elbows down. I drag myself forward a little bit like I'm a soldier crawling under the barbed wire through the mud. I push down, I drag forward, and I'm making space in my vertebrae. Use your elevator breathing technique now. Every time I breathe in, the elevator goes into the basement. When I breathe out, the abdominal muscles come in and up. This is a mild back bend that you're doing. Right? You're putting your spine through extension, right? A little bit of a back bend. And you want to use the abdominal muscles to brace the spine when you do a back bend. This is a good place to practice. I'm pushing down on my elbows. I'm dragging forward. I'm using my abdominal muscles. You can try wiggling the hips a little side to side. Sometimes feels nice. You can try bending one knee at a time. Sometimes feels nice. Take a break if you need. Every time I bend the knee, I'm using my hamstrings and I'm stretching the quadricep muscles. My abdominal muscles are bracing the spine. And I'm getting some work in the shoulders, pushing down, dragging forward. It's a complex movement. Kudos for doing it. It's not easy. Okay, after all that, now I'm up on the hands and knees. Let's find a good camera position here. Sometimes you put a blanket underneath the knees. Feels nice. Let's see. Yeah, this will do. So I call this the barnyard series because it's all the animal poses. It's cat, cow, dog, moose, ram, bird, all those. So here I am on the hands and knees, and delicately, a little bit at a time. Don't go for broke right away. Do a little bit. I arch my back up to the spine like an angry. I arch my spine up to the ceiling like an angry cat. I let my head go down. I let the hips tuck under. And then cow pose is where you let the belly hang down, like a cow with an udder giving milk to the calves. That's why they call it cow pose. I lift my head. My hips tip forward, back and forth, back and forth. Take your time. may notice your body favors one of those positions more than the other. The other thing you can do here is what I call the battering ram. You can rock forward and back. Forward and back. If you feel real good, come all the way forward into an upward facing dog. Use the abdominal muscles to brace the spine. Feels good, you come all the way back into a child's pose. You rest your head on the floor. If that's too much, you go as far as you want. Also a good idea to move the ankles a little bit, right? You can point the toes forward. You can curl the toes under. I also like to go side to side, figure eights and circles. Again, you're not looking for irritation in the elbows, the wrists, the knees. You're not looking to irritate joints. You're looking to feel good stretches in muscles. Now I bring my knees together. I'm not in cat, I'm not in cow, I'm in neutral. I'm in between. I'm pushing my hands into the floor so those shoulder blades protract. Remember we practiced that? This one leg, I'm going to press into the wall behind me. You got to play around a little bit to find just the right distance to be from the wall. Right? So you may have to inch a little forward, a little back. And after a few times, you just start to know your own dimensions. So while I'm in the pose, I'm going to review my notes. Can I push down, make my shoulders broad? Yeah. Can I pull the elevator up and down as I breathe? Yeah. Can I push that foot into the wall? Not rest it on the wall, push it into the wall. Yeah. All right, and then I'll change sides. Take a minute. Practice on your own. Change legs at your own pace. It's not an endurance contest. It's as you move in and out of these positions, can you do it skillfully? Can you apply your techniques? What my shoulders are doing, what my belly's doing. More advanced, when I stretch that leg on the wall, does it get all twisted? Does the toes point one way, my knee points another, or can I line up the planes of the leg? More advanced, what's working that doesn't need to work? Right? Are you grinding the teeth? Is the tongue pushing a hole through the roof of the mouth? Nag, nag, nag. Okay, that's good. So now you take a little break. Sometimes the hands take a beating on that, right? So you shake out the hands a little bit. Final thing we're going to work on, downward facing dog. Right? So when I do downward facing dog, I do 2 rounds. The first round I do with bent knees. Bent knees. So watch this. I push down to get my shoulders broad. I've got my knees bent. And when my knees are bent, I'm going to push my hips up and back. I'm trying to make my body longer and longer and longer. The left side, the right side, the front, the back. I'm trying to make the body longer and longer. Then I take a break. I shake it out. When I'm ready, I do again. Try a few times on your own. Take about a minute or so. Push down and get the shoulders broad. The abdominal muscles are working. I've got my knees bent, and I'm pushing my hips up and back, up and back. Keep going. I'm going to talk with you while you're doing it. Sometimes just the right side stretches and the hips get a little twisted, so can you stretch the sides evenly? Sometimes the body caves in, right? So can you stretch from the sternum to the pubic bone too? Sometimes the lower back wants a hyperarch, particularly for you limber ones, right? Don't do like the gymnast finish where the lower back hyperextends. It's meant to be an even extension. Left side, right side, front side, back side, all 4 sides of the spine extend evenly. The shoulder blades don't crowd the neck. Give it a few more breaths. Now the second time I do it, I work on getting my legs straight. So here's how I do it. You watch first, then we'll do it together. Broad shoulders, belly's working. I get all that length out of my body, and I start off with my heels in the air. That makes it so much easier to get the knees straight. And then once I get the knees straight, then I work on stretching the heels back and down. I've got my head looking a little bit forward. I'm looking at my thumbs. I recommend that for beginners. Then take a break. You're on. Broad shoulders, Elevator coming up and down. While my knees are bent, I get all that extension in my spine. And then with my heels in the air, then I work on making my legs straight. Maybe I work on getting the heels to go down. Try it a few times on your own. Give it about a minute. I'll talk with you while you do it. When you go to make the legs straight, apply all your awareness of the legs you picked up. How those muscles on the front of the thigh squeeze to make the knee straight. How sometimes the knees want to twist in, but the toes want to twist out. Can you line up the planes of the leg? Are the shoulders crowding the neck? They really do. They kind of want to retract on the neck. Don't let them. Keep them broad so they don't pinch the neck. You're getting stronger. You're getting more limber. But you're developing that ability to be self-aware. Now, what am I doing? What am I actually doing? Are my legs working harder or are my teeth just grinding more? Okay, come on down. Relax. When you're ready, windshield wipers on your back. Okay? Just like we did at the beginning of the class. I like to put a mat down because I think it's colorful and festive. I like when everyone in the class has a different color mat. It makes the little room look cool. A couple blankets for my head. I'll wait to put my head here. My legs drape over the bolster. The name of this pose is Shavasana. Shavasana means corpse pose. And the idea is that you make yourself lie still, like a corpse. And at first you learn how to make your body still. And eventually you learn how to make your brain still. And first the body. So get comfortable. Shoulder blades down my back. Play with my shirt collar. Play with my pants. It takes a minute or two to really settle in. If you've got the bones in a good spot, do a few of those vigorous breaths again. Trying to make the breath last and last and last and last. After you've done enough of those, then you settle into the soft breathing, where you let the belly expand like a balloon. Or I prefer to call it muffin top breathing, right? Where you let yourself have a muffin top with each breath. And intellectually, you know now the belly expands because of the action of your diaphragm coming down. And every time you breathe in, the elevator goes into the basement. Squashes up your guts, makes the belly expand. But now, when you breathe out, just relax. Just let go. And the diaphragm will come back up on its own. The air comes out on its own. So you see how lazy, how passive can you be on the exhale. And breathe in, you pull the elevator down. To breathe out, you let go. And each time you relax to let the air out, your brain gets a little better at relaxing. It learns how. So you apply that to all the body parts you learned how to feel today. And all those muscles in the ankle and the calf, the knee, the thigh, the ball and socket in the hip. Let all those body parts release and let go. Every time you relax to breathe out. as those muscles calm down, the nerves calm down. And there's less activity in your brain. And as your brain calms down, your mind becomes quiet. You stop spinning your wheels. When you're ready to go a little deeper, relax the face. So many nerve endings in the face. Just let the expression go blank. The eyes settle back into the sockets. The jaw settles back into your skull. Even the tongue in your mouth relaxes down away from the roof, settles back into your throat. And as you learn to release these subtle tensions, things become very quiet. And the calmest moment is in between breaths. After you breathe out, and just before you breathe in again, there's a heavy pause where things are deathly still. That moment, that's Shavasana. That's corpse pose. The next few breaths, let them come up into the chest. So you feel the rib cage expand. And small movements where you wiggle the fingers and toes. Stretch the arms and legs. There's no rush, but when you're ready, the best way to come up is really to turn to your side. And then I use my hands to push myself up. Kind of let my head hang down. I've got my legs and my hips underneath me. And when I take a deep breath and I feel the chest rise, that's when I lift the chin. Small details. I love teaching. I do. I love teaching people the things that help keep me sane and healthy. So I hope you get some benefit out of this. And thank you for letting me practice these. I'm going to teach my Zoom class tonight. Somehow I got to find a way to get these 2 hours down to 1 hour. But thank you for joining me. Namaste.